Hello, this is Virtual Unit Preview, Unit 5 for Science and Humanities. This is the overview of the science teaks that we'll be going over this unit. It looks like in this unit we're doing a lot of reviewing of past teaks just to align with the CA3 and the STAR that's coming up. So it looks like we're going to start with 3.3c, and we're talking about the natural world using models such as volcanoes, sun, earth, and moon systems to identify their limitations, including size, properties, and materials. I did put on here the type of questions that could be asked during this session. Again, in this unit, we are discussing the contributions of sciences. So in this, during this week, you can kind of go through and see which scientists contributed to things that we're working on. For example, we're working with weather. So maybe a famous meteorologist or someone, the inventor of the wind vane. All right, excuse me. 3.8a. Again, we are observing, measuring, recording, and comparing day-to-day weather changes in different locations. At the same time, that would include air temperature, wind direction, and precipitation. In the resources, there's also a weather journal project that you could do with your scholars, and it does the same thing. It talks about the different types of weather and how they occur. Of course, being in Texas, this is great because day to day it changes, so that would be very beneficial to you and your scholars. We're also going to describe and illustrate the sun as a star composed of gases that provides light and heat energy for the water cycle. Having them being able to understand the water cycle and what that looks like. There is a magic school bus book that was provided to us. It's in our AR supplies that really talks about the water cycle and what that looks like. So that would be a good resource to use during this time or this week. We're also going to construct models that demonstrate the relationship of the sun, earth, moon, including orbits and positions. With this, I've also used Storybots on YouTube, and they have a really good episode about the solar system. So it talks about the planets and it talks about the orbits and the position. Scholars really do enjoy that. And again, this is a continuation about identifying the planets in the Earth solar system and their position relative to the sun, in relation to the sun. Again, that resource of the Storybots, it is a song that the scholars are very engaged with. In the resources, there's also a project for them to do using marbles to show relative size and location. All right, we are now in Humanities. Again, this is kind of going over some of the things that we went in previous units. We want to identify and analyze the heroic deed of individuals, including military and first responders, such as the four chaplains. It looks like in the resource that I have provided, it's a project based on 9/11. One of the misconceptions is that scholars may not think that because they work for the police or fire department that they are truly heroes, and that it has to be Iron Man or the Hulk in order to be a hero or be heroic. So you want to kind of just identify and address that misconception. And we're also using vocabulary related to chronological, including past, present, and future times. There is also a resource on in Blackboard that connects to this. You can use this in your writing, make it a cross-curriculum connection with using verb tenses that way. We're creating and interpreting timelines. Again, there is another project in the resources that would be able to be used to identify how to create and interpret. Also, there's a project about the scholars doing one for themselves. If you want to increase rigor, you could have them do it for a an invention or a scientist. Just depends on what direction you want to go with that. Again, we're also identifying individuals past and present, including Henry Ford. So this is the connection to the previous teak that you can use to, even though they're only for 1 week or 2 days a week, you can combine them because we're still identifying and explaining scientists and what they contribute to the world. So, for example, this is a picture of Henry Ford. And so you talk about those things because kids may not make that connection about what he actually did. Or, for example, Sam Walton. Who is that? But they go to Walmart, a lot. So you want to just kind of make it real world for them. Again, we're identifying various individual writers and artists. So there are lists of different artists that they're going to ask about. So you can kind of create some different projects for them. One of the projects in the resource is it's called Read My Expression. So then you read the poem by any poet. It could be anyone on here. I chose Phyllis Wheatley in the resources. And so you read the poem and you give them some type of clay or Play-Doh and have them create how they feel. So a face, whatever they feel as you're reading this poem or as they're reading the poem. Okay, so that's just a different idea of how to incorporate art during this time. Again, explaining the significance of various individual writers and artists. Here's another painting. So that would be something you want to incorporate, painting and how it makes you feel. Maybe having a canvas up, maybe doing paint and talk. However you want to put that connection together. And we're talking about cultural heritage during this time. I've included in the resources it's called it's a poem for the palm of my heart, which it talks about the African heritage and culture. Again, there are multiple paintings that we can use based on these artists to invoke this type of spirit of cultural understanding and cultural diversity for all scholars involved. Well, that is the end of my virtual preview. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to contact me, Bree Bryant, at uplifteducation.org. Thank you.